Apparently, a lot of animals die or get injured under his watch.
Today we're going to be talking about cute boys and dead animals. When I first found Jacob's channel, it was at
the majority of his rise on YouTube has been his clear exploitation of animals, in which he poses as rescue videos. The videos seem to be clearly staged, where he finds animals in bad conditions, and then he saves the day.
So what kind of a sick, terrible human being would shoot this poor iguana? What kind of a sick, terrible human being would shoot this poor iguana in the head? And look.
What kind of a human shoves an arrow back into an iguana's head? As some of you know, I came down on Jacob Feder in the past for faking a bunch of content with living animals. One of the best examples of that being when he collaborated with Catchem while fishing, and he planted a Burmese python in a sewer, and he acted like he found it there. We found pictures of him on python hunts days before he made this video, and we matched those scale patterns, proving that he was not only illegally moving Burmese pythons, but faking these entire videos as well. You can watch that full video here. Anyways, let's just say I have reason to believe that he does this all the time. And it's not just me. There's other content creators out there starting to notice as well. February 22nd, 2021, Jacob Feder and his friend Landon posted these videos. I'm sure most of you guys watching have actually seen these thumbnails before, but they didn't actually watch the video. Well, not anyone with any sort of critical thinking ability, I'm assuming mainly preteens, watched these videos, because, you know, they didn't really question them very well. What I'm going to be doing is reviewing these videos, starting with Landon's video, as it's where the iguana is first discovered and captured. Then we'll be going over to Jacob's video, where he treats it. And when I say treats, there's definitely quotations on treats there. And I encourage you to go watch these videos on their channels if you doubt anything I'm bringing up in this video. You might actually want to do that, as Jacob has a terrible habit of deleting videos when he gets any sort of pushback.
So we're just gonna come over here. Oh my gosh, this is no.
I'm Landon Scherr, and today we have a crazy video. One of my friends sent me a picture of an iguana with an arrow sticking out of its head.
So we're gonna skip right to the part where he finds it.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna play this clip all the way through. Let's see if you notice the weird behavior from Landon when he catches this iguana. Let me know in the comments if you guys can figure out what I'm talking about.
Oh my gosh.
So let's slow it down a bit and zoom in. Now, here's the important part. As Landon grabs this iguana, he puts his hand down on the arrow, which actually caused the arrow to come out of the iguana by about an inch. You can see it right here. At this point, Landon sneakily pushes that arrow back into the iguana. Why would he do that? So looking at this with my perspective being a content creator, I'm gonna take an educated guess here. That arrow is the only thing that makes this video remotely interesting to anyone. So he made sure it stayed in there for the remainder of the video, even though it clearly would have fallen out without any sort of resistance. Also, he added this cringe replay right here where he catches the iguana, but he cuts out the part where he pushes it back in, probably because it looked even worse from far away. Then he proceeds to swim with that iguana back to the cameraman. The way that Landon's holding this iguana is giving it every opportunity to bite him. If you think I'm being hypercritical, do your own research. Go onto YouTube, go watch a video of people catching wild iguanas by hand. Doing it while swimming is next level insane, especially with an animal that you're not familiar with.
And if we're able to pull this arrow out, got some stuff in my mouth, we might be able to save him. He's still perfectly alive, just totally injured. He's managed to break the other half of that arrow off.
Landon just said that iguana snapped that arrow off made out of carbon fiber by itself.
Oh my gosh. These guys are really just put in a terrible situation out here. I know Jacob is really good at doing a lot of work with his iguanas, so I'm probably gonna bring him over there.
The first person my man Landon Scherr thinks to help him with this iguana is Jacob Feder, another animal YouTuber that's also incredibly young. Now that is totally wild, because Landon's father is a well-known exotic vet in Miami, which can be confirmed with a Google search. And I know there's going to be a couple of you guys out there that are like, you know what, I'm not going to do the research, I'm not going to believe Donny because he's called people out in the past, and that makes me mad. Well, Here's Landon saying it himself.
Subscribe to the channel so you can find out what happens. Hopefully nothing's bad. My dad's a veterinarian. I'm gonna call him right now.
Let's recap for a second. There's a loose arrow in this iguana's head, and on the other side of that arrow is clearly cut off. And there's no shot the iguana broke it off on its own, like Landon said. Jacob and Landon make videos for preteens, and let's face it, preteens are kinda gullible. I have a theory, and yes, it's only a theory, pure speculation. I think this wild iguana was dropped off at Landon's father's veterinarian clinic, where the arrow was removed and they discovered the arrow passed through cleanly. But seeing that the iguana was an invasive species, they knew the animal would ultimately need to be euthanized due to the FWC regulations. So I believe it was given to Landon and Jacob to either dispose of or release. What do you guys think of that? Am I crazy for having this suspicion? Now let me just say this before we continue on to Jacob Feder's video, which is a whole nother thing. I don't believe Landon or Jacob had anything to do with the arrow being fired into the head of this iguana. But that doesn't mean I don't think they're both being bad actors. I'm going to be breaking this one down too, as I'm sure people were on autopilot when they were watching this.
Landon is up in the truck. He's getting the iguana out, bro. This is insane, huh?
Guys, he's going crazy in here. This poor guy, I still have no idea how he's alive. Oh my gosh.
All right, bro.
Hold on a second. Let's open this up.
Open the box. I'm not gonna look.
Landon is hesitating, clearly wanting to see inside the box before Jacob does. Why? My guess is that he just wanted to make sure that the arrow was still inside of the iguana for the big reveal.
Hold on.
How big is he?
Look at the tail.
Oh, that is a monster, guys. That's a massive iguana tail. 1, 2, 3, grab him. Oh my gosh, dude, that is, no.
Oh my. Guys.
So what's worse? Someone shooting this iguana, which happens all the time sadly, or these two demons parading it around Florida while it's on the verge of death, just so they can make an awesome thumbnail and video.
Look at this, guys.
This amazing
This
animal.
is terrible. Landon, this is insane, bro. A broken off arrow. What?
Jacob just said the arrow was broken off, proving that he knows that arrow could just be pulled out easily. Keep that in mind, because it's gonna take a weird turn.
And now, if you guys are going to euthanize green iguanas because they are an invasive species, they're not supposed to be here, make sure you do it in an ethical way like Zach Catchem.
Dude, what?
Zach will actually use a bow fishing bow, which is the best way to actually shoot iguanas with arrows. You'll actually have a string attached to it so the animal will not get away. Zach does it in a very humane way.
Keep in mind, this is the other guy that was caught faking Burmese python hunting videos. Zach used a spear to kill 2 Burmese pythons, which, believe it or not humane. And on top of that, those pythons were put into that canal. We matched scale patterns and matched them to snakes in Joey Slam's video. This whole group of YouTubers, they just use animals as props. But these guys actually kill them. There's gonna be people out there that say these are just invasive animals, but feral cats are invasive species too. But nobody's out there spearing them like shish kebabs, because it's cruel. Snakes feel pain just the way that cats do. These videos only encourage their young, impressionable audiences to do stuff like this. All right, I'm done.
We're gonna actually have to try and saw part of the arrow off. So that's what we're gonna do now.
The only thing keeping that arrow in the iguana's head is Landon and Jacob. It's already been cut off and probably removed already once. And they most likely just shoved it right back into the iguana for this video, so they could pretend to saw it off, which they do right here.
We're gonna start sawing the arrow off here. We're just gonna get started on this graphite arrow and we're just gonna start sawing and get it off. We're almost there. It's loose. It fell out.
I don't think I need to explain this, but they didn't cut that arrow off. The blade doesn't even pass through the arrow, it just falls off.
Guys, we got the main part of the arrow out, but look, it's still lodged and stuck in his head. We're back. We got our mouthwash and we have our little operating station over here. We've got the truck bed here.
Notice he's wearing a new shirt, and this is probably a new day. Now that he's pretended to remove the long end of the arrow for no reason at all, besides making the video more exciting, he spends the remainder of the video cleaning this iguana's mouth rot. Kevin wanted me to point something out about this animal's health. The mouth rot is an indication of something far worse happening inside of this iguana. This bacterial infection has overcome the animal's immune system, and it's clearly septic. Kevin also agreed with me. Something's wrong with the jaw. Do you think a dentist is going to do a cleaning if your jaw's broken?
Comment down below a prayer because we're going to give it our all right now. We're just going to take this. He's closed his eye. We're going to pull it out in 1, 2.
So between cuts, he removed that arrow and replaced it with another one. I have no idea why he did this, but it's pretty sus.
3. Oh my gosh, Landon, look at this. There's an arrow coming out of this iguana's head. This is bigger than I ever thought it could possibly be. We're helping save this iguana. Oh my God.
Call me crazy, that looks like it was cut off on both sides. Clearly not broken off. He did a pretty good job pretending that arrow had resistance, but we all know it didn't.
This is probably the first time in at least 3 to 4 months that this guy has had no arrow in his head. I mean...
Wait a minute, did I just hear what I think I just heard? We're gonna roll this back.
This is probably the first time in at least 3 to 4 months that this guy has had no arrow in his head. I mean...
Why would you say it like that? That's insane. Of course it had an arrow in its head, unless maybe it didn't have one in there and you guys put it back in. If the rest of this video wasn't so obviously staged, I could probably look past his terrible dialogue. But I'm fairly certain Jacob just misspoke and was dumb enough to leave it in the edit.
But now that we put that through, we're gonna let this sit for like about 10 minutes, we're gonna rinse it off, and then we're gonna get this guy set up.
So that iguana was never seen or mentioned on his channel ever again. Why do you think that is, guys? It seems to me like the minute an animal has the word invasive in front of it, they stop treating it like it's an animal and they start treating it like it's an object. Let me try one more thing for you guys out there that want to hate me no matter what. What if this was a deer? Would you be upset if they shoved that arrow back into a deer's head and then they pretended to saw it off? Sometimes I think our fellow content creators are operating with their blinders on, avoiding any sort of controversy that would negatively impact their channel's viewership. I don't even blame them. But the thought of sharing this platform with all of these creeps and possibly being mistaken for one of them makes my skin crawl. We use our platform to give these animals a voice, plain and simple, because everyone else is afraid to.